Hello, friends. How are you all? I miss seeing you. Well, it's the Christmas season. I'm sure many of you have decorations at home by now. You can see some decorations in my home behind me on the mantle here. And I thought that would be a good chance for us to read a Christmas book, a Christmas season book. So I've selected a book called Harold at the North Pole. And you know who lives at the North Pole? Santa Claus. And this book is by Crockett Johnson. Harold is a little boy who has a purple crayon. And with his crayon, he creates the scene that he thinks of in his head. It's pretty good. Let's try it. It was Christmas Eve, and Harold had to have a Christmas tree before Santa Claus arrived. In this first picture, you see what he's drawing? That's the moon. Let's see what the moon does. So, in his warm woolen cap and mittens, with his purple crayon and the moon, he set off for the North Woods. Harold made sure he went north by the Big Dipper. Have you ever heard of the Big Dipper? That's an arrangement of stars in the sky that looks like a dipper. Here's the handle, and here's the dipper, and these two always point to the North Star. So Harold is drawing the Big Dipper to help him find the North Pole. Suddenly, he remembered Santa Claus came by sleigh, so there would have to be snow. And do you see Harold drawing lots of snowflakes? And there was snow. There was a blizzard. Whoa, look at that snow. Harold shivered. It's a fine night to be out, he thought, for a snowman. And look what he does with his crayon. He draws a snowman. The snowstorm was worse than he imagined. Even a snowman didn't look cheerful. He doesn't look cheerful. He's missing that smile that you make out of stones or cinders. Let's see what happens next. Harold gave the snowman a muffler to wear. Do you know the word muffler? We call it a scarf too. And happily, the storm was finally showing signs of letting up. You see how it's getting clear in this picture? We can see the moon again. So the snow is starting to let up. The snow stopped falling, but it lay in big drifts. You see the piles of snow? It covered everything. From the looks of things, Harold thought he might very well be at the North Pole. But this couldn't really be the North Pole, he told himself, because he knew that Santa Claus's workshop is at the North Pole, and here all Harold could see was snow. And look how he got up to see snow at a great distance. He drew himself a candy cane and he climbed up, he shimmied up the candy cane. That's pretty clever. I'd like to have a purple crayon like that. Still, it did look remarkably like the North Pole, Harold reflected as he climbed up on a snowdrift as big as a house. It was a house. He really was at the North Pole on the roof of Santa's workshop. And what is Harold drawing with his crayon? The chimney of a house. With smooth snow over the eaves of the roof, Harold was sure Santa Claus was inside. He was snowed in. Santa Claus was snowed in. How was he going to get out on Christmas Eve? It was the night before Christmas. Why, Harold asked excitedly, couldn't Santa come out up the chimney? We know Santa goes down the chimney. Couldn't he come up the chimney? Harold wondered. What do you think? Can Santa Claus come up the chimney? We'll see. Well, then he realized that was a silly question. Of course Santa Claus could come up a chimney. Look at Harold. He just draws Santa Claus with his purple crayon coming up the chimney. The difficulty was Santa's sleigh, full of toys, couldn't come out that way. Well, that's a problem. Harold thought, and then he acted fast. He told Santa to come out without the sleigh and not to worry, to leave things to Harold. Santa Claus appeared to be rather doubtful. Look at Santa Claus. He's a rather doubtful, not so sure. But Harold confidently went to work lining up the reindeer. Look at Harold drawing the front legs of the first reindeer with the moon in the corner up here. Let's turn the page and see what happens. Oh, soon Prancer and Dancer were pawing at the snow, eager to be off around the world. Harold wasn't quite certain of the names of the other reindeer, but he made sure there were 8 of them. They were all handsome and spirited animals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here he's drawing 7 and 8. Do you know the 8 reindeer? Prancer and Dancer, Comet and Vixen? I'd have to think. But there are 8. I'll bet you know 8. I can only think of 4 right now. Oh, Dasher and Dancer. Well, that's 6. You can have time to come up with the other 2. Well, he drew the reindeer, and even if they weren't exactly in their right order, none of them complained. Harold harnessed them with no difficulty. He just drew a harness with his purple crayon. He's very clever with that crayon. He's making some real good scenes. And he hitched them to a splendid sleigh. Oh, look at that. It had a comfortable seat for Santa Claus, and it had room for a sizable bag of toys. He generously filled the bag to overflowing. Look at the big bag of toys that Harold's sitting on, and he's drawing toys coming out the top of the bag. It's so full, it's overflowing. And look at that big, beautiful sleigh that he's drawn and the backs of the last 2 reindeers. He's very good with that crayon. Let's turn the page. For a moment, Harold thought of looking to see which were his presents. He wanted to get a peek at what he was going to get for Christmas. But there wasn't time. He told Santa Claus to get in the sleigh and deliver the toys. He's got that all ready for Santa Claus. And without more ado, he waved goodbye. Goodbye, Santa. He would have liked to ride with Santa, but he still had to find a Christmas tree. Harold needed a Christmas tree at his home. And he had to get it home and decorate it too before Santa got there. He looked everywhere for a Christmas tree, but all he could see was the moon. You see, there's no tree in sight. He wondered how the moon would look on top of a Christmas tree. So Harold draws the Christmas tree. Or it would look like an ornament, he thought, and it does. It looked fine over the tree, and the tree also looked fine under the moon. It was just the tree he had been looking for. Now, the only problem was to get it home. It had to stand in the living room, between the fireplace and the big soft chair. Fortunately, the tree fitted in perfectly. Look how Harold has drawn some of the fireplace, and over here must be the big soft chair. Yes, Harold hung up one of his stockings on the fireplace mantle. You see the stocking? He's actually hung that up by drawing it with his crayon. Here's the big soft chair. and he climbed into the big soft chair to wait for Santa Claus to arrive. Do you see Harold sitting in the big soft chair? And he's going to wait for Santa Claus to arrive. I'll bet he falls asleep before Santa Claus arrived. Did you ever try to wait for Santa Claus to get there? Nobody gets to see Santa Claus. Well, that's the end of Harold at the North Pole. I hope you liked the little Christmas story. I hope you're enjoying the Christmas season, all the good cookies and candies to eat, and the decorations around the house. So I hope you have a very nice Christmas, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the new year, and I hope you get a nice present for Christmas. Thanks. Bye-bye.